Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your second morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Be sure to click the notification bell and the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page, and you can find me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it. Now, this is a sad and shocking story. An 11-year-old was shot and killed getting something from his mother's car. So the 11-year-old boy was shot on Thursday in the parking lot of an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas. Now, he was simply walking to get something out of his mother's car, according to the police. Deputies and EMS found the boy with at least one gunshot wound to the chest, and aid being administered by his family at the time of their arrival. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, but sadly was pronounced dead when he got there. Now, Harris County deputies responded to an apartment complex just before 7 p.m. after receiving reports of a shooting. They say they heard people complained that they heard multiple gunshots being fired. Now, the early stages of the investigation indicated that gunshots were heard shortly after the boy walked to the parking lot to get something from the car. Witnesses say they saw a suspect run through the complex and jump over a wooden fence after the shooting. The Harris County Sheriff's Department did not immediately respond to requests for comments from ABC News. Okay, so this is just so sad. At the end of the day, you know, all of this senseless gun violence and people just shooting aimlessly, not caring, having any regard for human life, people's children getting caught in the line of crossfire. And this is why I'm always complaining about these people who sit there and say, no snitching. If you're not an active participant in a crime yourself, you're not a criminal, and you have nothing to gain from telling on someone who's committing these crimes, you absolutely need to report these things. And if you don't want to do so in person, you can do it anonymously through Crime Stoppers. I mean, we have to get these people that are menaces to society out of our communities and neighborhoods. They need to be held accountable, or more children will continue to die and our communities will continue to be unsafe. Like, this is ridiculous. Can you imagine sending your kid to the car to get something and this is what happens? And my heart goes out to the family and the parents of this child, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, they say they saw someone running and jumping over jumping over a fence or whatever, but they don't have any other details as of yet on who the perpetrator was. But I hope they find out. And my question is, what was this person shooting for? Were they shooting at someone specifically? And if so, who's that person? Do they know anything? I just have so many questions. What really caused this tragedy to happen? I don't know. It's just real crazy. But, you know, like I said, these are the things that happen. And sadly, in most cases, people just don't want to say anything. It's really sad. Anyway, with that all being said, let's move on, because I cannot with these nefarious people who have absolutely no regard for human life. You know, they don't care about anyone other than themselves. They're out here just doing all sorts of crazy things. And it's really a tragedy. So now let's talk about what's going on in Mississippi, because this, I don't know what this is, but it all sounds very strange. Okay, everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so listen to this. They say Mississippi City struggles to find the source of lingering smell likened to sewage, ammonia, decaying animal carcass. Okay, so the mysterious smell that has been plaguing residents of Hattiesburg, Mississippi for months or even years, according to some accounts, is now being investigated by the state's Department of Environmental Quality. I'm sorry, you mean to tell me this has been going on for years and they're just now deciding to do something? Make sense. Now, this area must be populated by disproportionately populated by Black people. I'm just saying, we all know how that goes. Just like the water problem in Flint, Michigan, but let me continue. So according to the Hattiesburg American, the foul odor has been likened to sewage, ammonia, and rotting dead animals. So last week, Mayor Toby Barker wrote on Facebook that the city is aware there have been intervals of smell in downtown and surrounding areas in recent days and weeks. Usually they have occurred in the 7 to 10 a.m. range. However, there have been a few times, such as Sunday, where the smell rolled in during the evening. So they say Barker said that state officials have been assisting in tracking down the source of the smell. So on Thursday, he released an update on the situation, saying that Mississippi's Department of Environmental Quality, the staff had visited 2 manufacturing plants in the area, although a definite conclusion on the source of the smell has yet to be reached. Let me tell you what I think. Now, this is just my opinion, solely speculation, but let me say this. At the end of the day, these manufacturing plants are likely getting rid of their hazardous waste somewhere in the area. This is likely what they are doing, getting rid of their hazardous and toxic waste somewhere in the area. And that may be where this pungent smell is emitting from. I'm just saying, we'll find out as the details unfold, but that's probably likely the cause of it. And hopefully they're not putting it in the water supply. I mean, you know how they do. Anything to save a buck. So officials said that after visiting one of them multiple times this week, they noted that while there is a smell that definitely pops up when you're close to the plant, there is a disagreement on whether it's the smell. Let me tell you something, honey. This is all cap. I clearly believe this is all cap. They're saying it's coming. It's close to the plant, but they disagree with whether it's the same smell. Okay, yeah, I'm sure. They're probably trying to cover this up because at the end of the day, if this is hazardous waste and anyone should become sick, water contamination or any of those things, the company could be sued. And I'm sure that's likely why they're trying not to put any culpability on them as of yet. Now, Barker said that city officials are now setting up a 10-day composite testing period to make biological oxygen demand samples, or to take biological oxygen demand samples at one manufacturing plant, specifically where its wastewater leaves the plant and comes to their lagoon. Now, the city is also in talks to hire an odor consultant, and a proposal will be reviewed next week. Now, I'm sorry, but I have never, call me naive, but I have never heard of an odor consultant. Could you imagine that being your job? Yes. Hello, ma'am. What do you do for a living? Oh, yes, I'm an odor consultant. Say what now? Anyway, so they say some residents commenting on Barker's Facebook post note that the problem has been going on for a very long time. They say this smell started around my area about 3 years ago. This is what one person says. I live in the southern part of the county. A Facebook user named Whitley S. Olivet wrote. I called and reported it. Someone from the sewage department eventually came out, checked my sewage line, and told me that it was my plumbing. I had a plumber come and check my plumbing, and nothing was found. After she spent hundreds of dollars to pay this plumber for nothing. So she says, I've been smelling it ever since we moved to Petal, and I have had to start driving down this way, and that was nearly 5 years ago. This is what a person named Stacy Pinto says. Now, residents have also used the mayor's post to describe the awful smell, comparing it to a fish market, saying that the drains and the decaying smell reminds them of an animal carcass. Hold on. One person says, a woman named Christine Dyke says, my nostrils are literally burnt, and it smelled for a moment like ammonia. This is so nefarious. I'm so sorry. This is clearly a laughing matter, but her nostrils were burnt. Oh my goodness. This is all too much. So anyway, I hope they get to the bottom of it. I mean, post haste, because this It's just simply a hot mess. Okay? Anyway, who knows what it is and how long it's going to take for them to get to the bottom of it? And why are they just now, after years of people dealing with this, coming out to investigate? Somebody please make it all make sense. But anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Peace.